So Community Engagement Spotlight for Training Institute for Learning Excellence Corporation, Brampton, Ontario, Canada. So in the beginning, Training Institute for Excellence Corporation started as Entry Edu School organization in 2018. As interest in the organization became more, we got advice and suggestions from friends and well-wishers to officially put it in as an incorporation in Ontario, since we intend to make it a long-term project, a long-term effort to support communities and to make a positive social change in our environment. And this idea started when a group of doctoral student residents in Tampa, Florida, USA, went for their usual residency program. And there was an emphasis on creating social change with their doctoral knowledge and degree. And that emphasis ignited a passion for today's Training Institute for Learning Excellence, Corp, also known as TALCA. Actually, the founder started as a project, and we never knew it's going to transform over time into what it is today. And as of April this year, we officially gained registered charity status. And this community engagement spotlight, we are going to be looking at various perspectives. We are going to be looking at programs. We are going to be looking at participation. We are going to be looking at procurements. And we are going to be looking at our existence and manpower. So in 2019, we became an incorporation in Ontario, specifically April. And we conducted several programs with participants all over the globe. When I mean all over the globe, anybody could log into our Zoom meetings, and we couldn't account for whether they are real persons or whether they are bots or whether. So we had a very relatively large turnout. And, when you conduct programs globally and you have people coming in and you don't know, you try tracking the number of individuals. Some will tell you, I will register to be volunteers, but the next moment you see them, the next other moment you don't see them. So we conducted several programs with participants all over the globe. Why am I emphasizing on participants all over the globe? As we progressed along, you're going to see the trajectory of the organization growth changed. And in 2020, we made several programs, and we tried streamlining our activities to make them more effective at our targeted audience. And of particular note was the first social change presentation we had in this organization. The first social change presentation was made by now Dr. Linda Humaden Zayed. She will be taking the next presentation. Then she was a doctoral candidate. And that social change presentation had 100% response of 100% satisfaction rate response. So a lot of people who we are involved in the organization, we are interested in seeing social changes in their community. Then in still that 2020, like I said, we had volunteers and several interested senior partners and well-wishers. We held our first Zoom meeting with presentations made by both board members and well-wishers. And in fact, the first presentation of the strategic direction of today's TALCA was made by Michael Eghomwanre. And that presentation was Roadmap to Success in Making a Positive Impact in the Community. Michael Eghomwanre is currently one of the board members, and he is currently supporting as a program manager. Then we go over to 2021. In 2021, all our programs, we are virtual. We are still virtual without geographical boundaries. Sometimes we had participants on Zoom who like 30-something participant, 40-something participant, 50-something participant. However, when you send out surveys, you only see maybe 15 or 20. So it was kind of like there was a dichotomy between what we had, what we were seeing, and what we were, what the record shows. And all programs were free. Ever since this organization started, except for last year, all programs were free and sponsored by co-founders. The first virtual annual conference was held in 2021, later converted to yearly outreaches in 2022. So the first virtual annual conference held in 2021 featured so many presentations, and there was a presentation on volunteering, which was taken by another volunteer then. We had numerous volunteers. And however, because of the nature of the organization and the nature of changes that have taken place in the organization, we had to become more focused with what we were embarking upon. So in 2021, our programs were annual forum, essay competitions, monthly quizzes, online ESL classes, tuition assistance. And this tuition assistance was without borders. We could give tuition assistance to someone in Africa. We could give tuition assistance to another person in another country. And it was more, we are dealing with a global audience. And so you expect some irregularities. Then we also had a platform for blog and editorials, which is still a major aspect of our program today. And we had educative Facebook and Twitter posts. Then participation as of 2021, there was tuition assistance for 12 students in 3 years. Essay competition winners were 7 in number in 2 years. And the all-time teacher awards, which were eventually adopted as the award for the annual education week, had 9 teachers who were recipients of this awards in 2 years. And we had conducted over 25 quiz competition we had over 25 quiz competition winners in 3 years and over 400 Facebook followers. Then coming to 2022, 2022 was a more focused year, as we had eventually decided to change our annual conference to 2 outreaches. So it's no longer a conference, it's more of outreach, where we had to go into our communities, we had to donate to our communities, and we had to bring in experts to talk on a particular area. So we held our first annual health and education week in 2022. And the turnout was reasonably okay for the changes that we are ongoing in the organization. And we commenced the annual education week Brampton School visits donation. So we donated to, I think that was Sir Winston Churchill School. That was the first Brampton school we donated to. And eventually we made a cash donation to Agnes, another school in Brampton, Agnes Secondary School. Then in 2023 was a year of better organization within the organization. We are going through this timeline and this event and this year to encourage those who want to start an organization, something like this. It's been there have been twists and turns. There have been winds. We had to navigate so many changes. In fact, we had challenges, but however, we are still here and we are growing and waxing stronger. So in 2023, we had our first quality improvement project, which was done under Leading Edge. And that project saw an increase. With that project, there was a kind 83% increase satisfaction with all our program among those that were surveyed. We sent survey to about 7 to 6 emails. However, the response rate was 32, which was fair for a startup. And 83% of those responded indicated that they were satisfied. We eventually did it. We streamlined our activities for better to enhance our performance and productivity. And at the end of the project, we discovered that everything to make the organization perform better, both in terms of programs and in terms of implementation of our activities, was well in place. And the project led to the creation of our outreach program framework, which has enabled us in executing all our outreaches since 2023. And I mean, we have been more consistent in our program rollout in the various types of programs we conduct. Activities we are streamlined for better performance. And the audience was narrowed from after 2023 improvement project. The board of directors made a decision that the audience should be narrowed from a global to a local audience for better performance, accountability, and resources utilization. So that was how we decided to narrow our audience targeted our population to Canada and Ontario. We made our first official annual report, which was created and published on our website. And like in 2023, we became focused. We had webinars. We had annual education week. We had annual ed week. And the first annual education leadership webinar was facilitated and delivered by Dr. Dari Batista. Dr. Dari Batista is a director with Seneca College. And the attendance at that leadership webinar was over 23 persons, which and the satisfaction rates with the delivery and the professionalism of the presenter, of the facilitator, was at 100%. And this is the first quality improvement project that led to the development of the OPPMI, the Outreach Programs Planning, Marketing, and Implementation Framework. Then in 2024, we started partnering with external organizations to execute training programs. We partnered with Prairie Center for Racial Justice for Employment. And that particular training program, we were able to sell tickets. Although we got a quarter to 1/3 of the money we spend in bringing in the trainer. And because of concerns raised from different potential funders on our status as a registered charity and the implications to their donation, to their donating to the organization, we had to pursue a registered charity status. And we started pursuing a registered charity status in 2024. We published our program survey results on our website. You can go to our website and you see under major programs, you will see our results there. And we are still going to publish more results towards the last quarter of this year. Then we commenced a knowledge sharing event like what we are doing now. And last year, we had 5 to 6 persons in attendance overall, both the presenters and those who attended. We sent out emails to over 20 something persons in Ontario, Canada. But however, some people called in and some people had tight schedules. So presenters, we had 4 presenters and we had 1 keynote speaker, and the keynote speaker called in last minute that she wasn't, she's not coming. And another presenter called in a day to that that's what she had family issues. So we were 3 presenters, and all the 3 presenters, we are all from Canada. And Dr. Holly, who spoke about nutrition earlier on, was one of our presenters. And Dr. Chanta Phillips was also another presenter. So we started a knowledge sharing event. And our views on YouTube are still encouraging. For a startup organization like us, having over 20 something views for a small group, it's encouraging. And we hope that, for the knowledge exchange, and we hope that we get more people to be engaged. And so the registration for that knowledge exchange meeting was like 5 persons, 4 to 5 persons. And there is improvement this year. We'll be coming to that. Okay, so for 2025, we also officially separated the supplies to school from outreaches. During our outreach, we still give supplies to school, but we now had a separate programs where we are able to donate to school outside of our annual education week. So this was Arnold Carton Elementary School, Brampton, Ontario. Then we had our first supply delivery to a health facility, Knightsbridge Supportive Housing. So that is one of the PSW in the facility who collected the items on behalf of the administrator of the facility. And in this year, 2025, our organization name was officially changed from Entry Edu Funds Home and School Organization to Training Institute for Learning Excellence Corporation. So in order for our organization to fit the activities we are conducting, the board members advised that the name should be changed from a home and school organization. The perception behind a home and school organization fits into more like maybe a child center or a daycare center. So we had to use a name that fits more into an institute where we deliver professional programs and training to adult learners and to professionals, health workers, which we are doing right now. The webinar, we had educators and teachers. The training, we had health professionals. And now the knowledge exchange meeting, all the presenters are top professionals. And it's kind of appropriate to use a name that fits our activities. Then as of 2025, 8 schools in Brampton have benefited from our supplies donation, and 2 health facilities in Brampton have benefited from our supplies donation, facilities supply donation program as well. Then the charity status, which we started pursuing it last year, we eventually gained it this year in 2025. April. And because of the various ups and downs we've undergone as an organization, having volunteers, having people from everywhere, and which sometimes you are unable to account for. Some of our social media handles, we lost them. Some of our social media handles we are taking over, and by some of the volunteers who we couldn't account for. So in fact, last year, a major recommendation was we have to start doing a thorough background screening before we bring in anybody. And we also have to start ticketing our meetings in order to ensure accountability for those who are coming in. And we know we are not dealing with unrealistic personalities, or we are not dealing with bots, or we are not dealing with actual people. So if you have 5 persons, you have 5 persons, then you have 40 or 20 persons, you don't really know, you can't really get them when you should. So we created new social media handles. Our numbers are not as high, but we intend to improve on those numbers. And that is going to be our next line of action for next year. We intend to increase our marketing, both online and in person. And like our professional programs, we are targeting long-term cares and retirement homes. And we have successfully marketed to over 15 long-term cares and retirement homes. And we are getting good feedbacks. Some who are interested in our professional programs this year, next year, they are going to put us on their budget next year, some this year, next year. And in fact, there are some other accomplishments that we didn't add here. We became an affiliate member of Ontario Long-Term Care Association, and we are a member of Canadian Association on Gerontology. So as a startup organization, even having presenters who are supporting us and having external collaborators work with us in delivering our programs, we are privileged and we see progress. Okay, so this is our charity status shown on Government of Canada website. And this is our school supplies delivery to Bramley Secondary School for this year. So our community engagement since 2022 have been pretty okay compared when you're talking about our funds and our resources, both financial and human resources. That's Miss Julia, who received the items on behalf of Bramley Secondary School. And existence, 6 years of existence and as an incorporation, over a few months existed as a registered charity, and 6 years of providing support and supplies to learners and educational facilities within the community, 6 years of conducting virtual and on-site program, 6 years of contributing to a better and healthier Ontario and Canada. Then our notable achievements, collaboration and partnerships. Dr. Lillian has been with us for quite some time. Dr. Himaden Zaid has been with us for quite some time. And we now have new people, Julia Rottenberg and Nilusha Jiwani Ibrahim and Holly. These are collaborations, and they've been supportive ever since they joined us. And we have 5 major programs that are running with 80 to 100% satisfaction rates. We now have a registered status. And good enough, we have not had any budget deficit in the past 6 years. We spend within our budget, and sometimes we try spending less than our budget in order not to incur any unnecessary debts. So our current manpower as of 2025, we have 3 business board of directors. We have 1 director of programs and administrator. We have 2 associate director and 1 trainer. We have 1 manager. We have 1 internship coordinator, and we have 1 administrative assistant organization. So the next frontier for the next 5 to 10 years, we want to reach a broader audience with our programs. We also intend to increase our supply items to schools and health facilities in the community. We are going to implement our yearly programs in line with our calendar. And the outreach program planning and marketing implementation framework has enabled us to be more consistent with this, especially as that projects made us develop templates, standardize all our processes, and it's quite regular. And even with the less volunteer manpower, we are still able to roll out all our outreaches and programs. And we intend to put more remote staff on our payroll. And we want to increase our fundraising activities. So as from next year, all events in our annual education week and annual health week are all going to be put to the public for sponsors. And thank you, everyone. Appreciation